So you recall we covered here some highly questionable stock trades of North Carolina Senator Burr. Basically, while he was telling the public, don't worry about the pandemic, government's got it handled, et cetera, he was dumping his own stock portfolio. And then, of course, after he did that, the market crashed. Well, now we are learning, this is according to a ProPublica report, that it wasn't just Senator Burr, his brother-in-law also dumped his stock on the very same day that Senator Burr was undertaking those activities.
Yeah, so between $97,000 and $280,000 worth of shares. He's a member of the National Mediation Board, which provides for interstate commerce and aviation and rail. So he says, he did not respond to a request for comment. I think the reasonable explanation that they would try to put forward is like, oh, well, he works in aviation and rail, so we knew that something was coming. Not sure if we necessarily buy that.
But I'm not sure that that's an excuse either. Right. If it was non-public information, That's not an excuse. That's actually more problematic.
Remember, this was before February 13th. We need to try and put ourselves kind of back into this time. Things were revving around. Only crazy people like us were talking about, hey, this coronavirus thing is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so at that time, to dump stock is a highly unusual move. And at the same time, Richard Burr was joined by Kelly Loeffler, the senator from Georgia, in also selling stock at that time. Now, Kelly Loeffler put forward an explanation saying that she has outside advisors, her and her husband worth, hundreds of millions of dollars.
So richest member of Congress.
Right. We now get a new report from the New York Times that Loeffler got a lucrative parting gift from a public company en route to the Senate. And this just is as swampy as it gets. She's the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, which her husband is the CEO of, changed compensation terms to give Loeffler, who is a top executive at that company, awards worth millions of dollars as a high-paying senior executive at the parent company, like I said, of the New York Stock Exchange before she was picked by Brian Kemp to be the next senator from Georgia after the previous senator resigned. And now Loeffler, is under real fire in their home state of Georgia. It has a very high unfavorability rating in that primary against Doug Collins. This was actually an huge internal fight. President Trump did not want Kelly Loeffler to be appointed to the Senate. He wanted Brian Kemp to pick Doug Collins, who's a Republican congressman from Georgia. This was a big fight here in D.C. It appeared that Kelly Loeffler had won. Now, in that runoff, in the primary race, does not look like it might be going Kelly Loeffler's way. It just goes to show that nothing about this is illegal. But isn't that kind of the problem? Somebody gets selected as the next senator from Georgia, worth $500 million. Husband is chairman of the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, you get a $9 million golden
gift.
Parachute. Thanks very much.
Where's our gifts?
And then, she says that, all the trades that happened, they were out of her control. Right. Of course, she's never produced any documentation
to prove
that to that effect. That's just based on her word. By the way, she's slamming these attacks on her stock trades and on the golden parachute as socialist attacks, Saagar. So how dare you level these sorts of socialist attacks against her.
I guess I'm a socialist. I don't want our senators and congressmen being bought and paid for by the New York Stock Exchange.
It's truly, and look, again, like you said, is it illegal? Maybe. Look, Senator, maybe. It actually might be.
The Burr thing might be. The Loeffler thing, no.
No.
Yeah.
But it's exactly the type of behavior that completely undermines people's trust. You look at the erosion of trust in institutions like the United States Congress, and you look at news stories like this, and it's like, no wonder people are disgusted with you. No wonder people don't trust that you have their best interests at heart. And oh, by the way, you don't give them any reassurance when you turn around from, dumping stock and profiting off of the pandemic. Then you turn around and bail out the biggest corporations.
Right.
Like, it becomes totally clear whose interests you are actually serving and allied with.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
All right, we'll have more Rising for you after this.